Fade me in, baby.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Hello,
everybody.
hello.
How are y'all?
So it's been like a really crazy week.
Yeah.
Really shitty past couple of days, actually.
Yeah. I got super ill.
We, our family, yeah, it's pretty crappy.
I'm sorry. Because the illness and the way that it's attacking, I legit just have been. I can't get enough sleep.
Dead to the world.
I cannot get enough sleep right now, and I feel bad because Jason has just taken up so much of the slack in the house. Like he's just done so much.
I haven't done that much.
I feel like you have.
No, you're getting up. You're getting the kids to school. I'm staying up really late because I'm building a whole lot of shit for what?
Valor Electrical Team.
Yeah. What is that?
That is my
What is it?
my hour. I'm not sure how you want me to present this to
I
the
don't give a
world.
shit. I don't give a shit because it's owned by you.
It is owned by me.
100%
It is owned by
on
me.
paper.
Yes, I
I
own.
am not on paper anywhere.
No,
So
no,
you can say it how you want to say it, babe.
I know, but I couldn't do it without you. So I feel like a mic when I'm like, it's all mine. I feel like I'm a mic, and I hate that. It makes me sick to my stomach to be like that.
You got to remember the name. It's called Team.
It is team. Yeah. So it is 100% women and veteran owned, but I could not own and operate it without my amazing spouse. So, does that bother you that I refer to you as my spouse?
Not at all.
Okay. We're not legally married, but whatever. Yeah.
Her face is about to go on this arm. I can't wait.
And his hand's about to go around my neck.
Right now. I'm looking at the screen.
I know it's hard. It's because it's reversed. Yeah. But so yeah, I opened an electrical contracting business, and
What do we do with that?
I'm wondering if you can catch that. We are basically service wise, we are residential, industrial, and commercial. We service basically every electrical aspect that you can think of.
All right, pause.
Yep.
Sorry. Let me clarify.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we service all of the above. Also, we do ground up commercial jobs. And
I'm just trying to keep myself awake.
we do industrial finish outs.
Okay.
So, like Amazon facilities.
Oh, yeah.
And big, just super large corporations that have all of these. You probably see them all over the place, everywhere you live. These huge buildings popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
That are tilt wall.
Oh, yeah. Like the big concrete things. Yeah.
So that's a big thing that we're going to be doing, is doing the finish outs on those.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. So
I can't wait.
And actually, here's a really,
that's probably my favorite part. Well, one of them. Right now, my favorite part is building this pricing guide, because
I know
it is like nobody else is going to have anything like it.
No, and I love the fact that we're getting to lay down the pre-work foundation so that you could
we've built it, but we haven't actually launched.
Yeah, well, we've done a soft launch, right, of the company and everything, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into pre-work, and the fact that we've got the capabilities to do the pre-work, and we know what it takes to launch one of these businesses correctly off the ground instead of what happened.
I don't know. And I hope we're still rolling. I can't see what that
says. Don't click on that. Go back down and click there. There you go. Oh, okay.
We're still rolling.
Awesome. So we know what all the pre-work takes. So it's nice that we're able to go in and structure each and everything until it's structured correctly. And right now we're doing pricing book, and we're doing
for me, this is electrical contracting take 6.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And
Take 2 for me.
I said no
And then
all 5 times after the first one. And yet here we are.
well, and then he came home
Well,
one night. He came home and I was like, "So we should just do an electrical contracting business." And he raised his voice and got very stern and side-eyed and was like, "Absolutely not." And then the next morning he woke up and he was like, "So let's just have this conversation. Let's just have it."
well, there was something that happened in between there.
I know I'm leaving it out purposely.
I don't care if we talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I really don't care. So I got a phone call from a person that I've done business with in the past.
Yeah.
It was an emergency call.
Yeah.
He couldn't get anybody else out there.
No.
He called at 4:00. It's 111 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Everybody's going home at 4:00.
Well, yeah, they've worked their crews to the ground.
Yeah. Everybody's dead ass tired.
Uh-huh.
Nobody wants to take on an emergency call for a small price,
Right.
which I didn't take it on for a small price by any means.
Right.
But I took it on for a fair price for emergency call because this job could have easily turned into $15 to $20,000. But I would treated the customer fair because it's an existing customer of mine that like I said, I have had a relationship with, and that's what you do for people like that when they're like in a spot. You've created a relationship with them. They need something. They're stuck. They need power. Like, you step in and you do what you do. And I was lucky enough to reach out to somebody that I know to come help me as well. And they stepped up and they helped too. So it just, it worked for a reason. It just all worked out. And
Mhm.
then I came home, dead ass tired, just beat myself to death because I haven't actually put tools on in a couple of years, to be honest. Well, take that back. I put tools on another job maybe a year ago, and I hurt myself there. I'm just getting, hate to say this, I'm getting fucking old. And it sucks because I actually enjoy, being out there doing what I know how to do sometimes. Like, I sometimes enjoy going and twisting wrenches and putting stuff together and building the project out and designing it. And then, because I've been in this trade so long, I can do it so fast and I'm really good at it. And I was in and out in 2 hours. Power completely destroyed. I had to completely relocate an entire service to another side of the wall. And yes, I am licensed, all of that good stuff. So that's not a question. But I had to relocate all of this stuff, rebuild it, cut it loose live, three-phase power, cut 3-phase power loose live so I can get this guy back up and running. I mean, they're operating a business. So, and actually 3 businesses they were operating out of there. But yeah, you do what you got to do to take care of your people.
Mhm.
So that's that story. Would you like to tell everybody our topic for the evening?
Active listening.
What does that mean?
I actually had it all pulled up on my phone and now my phone's about to die. Do you have your phone?
It's on the charger.
Oh,
You got a lot of following over there?
I don't know. Probably not. I did for a minute and then no, we're down to 1. Okay. Ugh. If you guys want the rest of it, you got to go to our channel.
That's right. Sorry, guys. We're also live
Bye.
on TikTok for a minute because, yeah, why not?
Well, we have to meet our goal of going live. So I just got 395 viewers and 1,600 likes and 4 viewers who commented. So there you go.
We got to grow that other page.
Yeah.
I've been working on it. It
I
should
know,
be
but
close.
it's not though. But it
Was
was,
it 600, right?
and now it's at 517. It's like going
Damn, what the hell happened?
I don't know.
That page is weird.
It is weird
Why is it sleepy?
because I've been sick. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Active listening. 5 ways to practice.
Don't be so down. 5 ways to practice.
Yeah, 5 ways to practice.
Are you fighting your mic tonight?
I was a little bit.
You want to fight Mike?
That's another thing is that we probably, since we've all been sick,
Should just go fight Mike.
we should we should replace these.
The covers,
Yeah.
Lysol,
Mm.
and the ozone machine in this room.
Oh yeah, that'd be another good thing to do.
Like needs to happen for sure for the gear.
For the gear.
Yeah, the ozone machine must come in here.
Yeah.
Door closed.
And run for a little bit. We still
A
need
day.
we still need to make our bed.
We still got to do a lot of shit.
What does that mean?
There's laundry that needs to be changed in order to make the bed. What's in the dryer? Just the bed cover?
I think just the bed cover, yeah.
See, we still got to dry sheets.
I'll just sleep on the couch.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I said fuck it. What do you think, buddy?
The importance of active listening in a relationship.
Boom.
Boom.
There she is.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me just watching.
What do you know? So, active listening. What's it mean?
Active listening means.
Throw something at me, girl. Let's talk.
Okay. Active listening requires you to listen attentively to a speaker, understand what they are saying, and respond and reflect on what's being said and retain the information for later, is the actual definition of active listening. So
for me, what's that actually translate as for you?
Well, active listening for me means, I guess actually what we should do before we jump off into that question is it's 5 easy ways to practice active listening and what the hell it means.
Okay.
So I think this would be a great thing. So it's actually, there's an acronym for it that's called BUILD. BUILD. BUILD for active listening. So we've got.
What happens when it goes from here to here? It's like sad.
I told you my mic was doing that before and I tightened it with the screwdriver. It's probably what you need to do with yours.
Yeah.
It's got limp dick syndrome over there.
Little bit I miss her.
Yeah, she hasn't been on TikTok a whole lot. Or maybe she has.
I hope she's okay.
I hope she's okay too. B in the build is body language. How you stand or present yourself sends a message. Good body posture means you're focusing your attention on the person you're engaging with.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Body language.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're talking to me, what do you think your body language looks like?
It depends on what I'm trying to talk to you about and if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood or whatever.
Do you think your body language changes every time you speak?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. I'm very aware of the fact.
Do you think everybody's does?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you're like some trained by like the CIA or FBI or some shit.
So if you were to walk into like, all right, for example, let's say you walk into a supply house and you're going in there to buy parts and you're having a conversation with the guy behind the desk. And you're like, hey, I need to buy a roll of tape and some silicone and a piece of pipe. What's his body posture going to be like? I feel like he is going to always be the same and receptive to. He's going to act the same to every customer. You don't think so?
False. No. Being a female in the male dominated industry, trade industry, I get treated differently when I go into supply houses, especially if I show up with a male that I don't get. It's a completely different experience.
So let's talk about that. So showing
Sure.
up with me
Yes.
at a supply house as I'm introducing you to the people that I know,
Mm-hmm.
what happens?
Uh, I usually don't get the same like firm handshake. I get like the dainty, like,
Like
like
this?
like it's nice to meet you. And I'm like, I'm here to do business just like anybody else.
You want what?
Yeah, like I want to be like, hi, nice to, yeah, that's it
You want it in
exactly.
there.
Yeah. Like I want a really firm handshake. I'm no different than anybody. Like
Yeah.
I can't stand that.
Bring it in.
Yeah. Drives me nuts. And then
Or even the fist bump.
yeah, like, hey, how are
What's
you?
up?
Yeah, that's fine too. But I think that as far as doing business, people need to not see gender,
Yeah. Well, I think we're about to change that in a huge way.
especially with our company.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think we're going to force change in that market.
Yeah, we are.
And I think because we're going to do it, and if we have a huge amount of people that are digging what we're doing, and I think we will,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already do
because
with
we're
like
gonna,
we're doing this already.
yeah, and but monetizing the company itself and not just trying to rep it through our personal stuff,
Right.
because I like organic growth.
Me too.
It says a lot about what you're doing.
It does.
Like there's not Facebook, well, there might be ads and stuff like that, but there's not. I'll put it to you guys like this: there's not YouTube ads that I have scheduled out for people to follow or subscribe to our page. You can do it. I have not done it.
No.
We also have not bought pages that already have subscriptions
Right.
of a lot of people, and that is a thing.
That is a thing. People will make a YouTube channel because you can rename. Excuse
You
me.
can rename, you can delete all of the photos, all the content out of it, and start adding your own content. You just need the following.
Hmm.
The thing about that is you've got to keep the engagement going for those people, and it's got to be a similar type of page that you're going to take over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to lose every one of those subscribers, because all they have to do is hit the unsubscribe button.
Hmm. Can I have one of those Altoids?
And so I'm not interested in ever doing that,
Me either.
because organic growth in what we're doing means that you guys are here for a reason.
Right.
And so back to body language. Do you feel like I have a certain body language right now?
Yeah.
And what is it?
Relaxed, open, like versus like, and that's what I'm talking about is like everybody's body language changes. Like when you were talking about going into the supply house, like it depends on like if I am going into the supply house by myself, I'm treated a certain way.
Yeah.
If I go into the supply house and I'm paraded in the supply house with like another man or like
Well, so I mean, for instance, we went in as a group and
yeah,
pitched something, right?
right.
And how did you feel even in that instance? Like they welcomed you in
They did.
a lot more than you actually got welcomed in pretty well there.
Yeah, I did. But
But that's
it's
because of a certain person
yeah,
also
right. Yeah. But what I'm getting
that built all of that up
yeah,
prior to.
prior to absolutely. So like you totally understand all of that. I just don't think that there's going to be anybody that understands unless it's another female in the male dominated industry that's going to actually understand what I'm trying to convey as
What
far as being like
So this is another interesting topic. So what females actually own electrical distribution?
like supply houses.
Yeah,
I don't know any that own supply
I bet
houses.
there are.
I bet there are, but I personally don't know
They're
any.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, so I have a badass, the most badass salesperson at a supply house, and It's a female.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I'm not gonna name drop her, but she is fucking badass. I'll ask her for something, and it can be like just something off the wall. Like, I need this connector to fit inside this connector, and I need this to go into here, and this to transfer into this.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the parts that I need to make that happen, but do you understand what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Boom,
And she'll
boom,
call
boom.
you back 45 minutes later and go, okay, I got it.
Or she'll send the email, and she's like, "Hey, it's sitting in your inbox. Check it out. All the parts are sitting there. All the cut sheets are sitting there. Is this what you needed?"
Yeah.
She's fucking badass, and
Yeah.
that's what I want to get across to everybody that's listening. Is yes, this is a male-dominated industry. However, the women that are in it are fucking phenomenal. You
Yeah.
know how many women journeymen I've hired over the years?
Mm-mm.
At least 15. And
Uh,
every one of them was a badass.
yeah. Do you think we're gonna have luck hiring female
Absolutely. I know
service,
3 that will go.
female service though, not
Yeah, I know
install
3 that will go.
for sales and service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
I
think
haven't reached
I think
because we're not ready.
it'll be really no, we're not ready. It'd be really interesting to see how like their perspective on versus being in a male owned company versus a female owned company. Because I don't know of any
I
try
think they'll feel like they have an input.
as they should. Um,
They did in my company. Like, not that I put them on a pedestal, but I highly valued their input. They put in the same amount of work to get to the same level.
oh, I wouldn't even say they put in the same amount of work. I bet they had to work harder.
I'm talking about going licensing wise. Like, they put in the hard work on the day to day to get their hours with men constantly hitting on them, constantly just, you know, it's got to be a harassment all day long, 24/7, whether it's employees, the GCs, the superintendents, the
Yeah,
people walking through the space.
right.
I mean,
So when I was
there's so much that goes into that, and I had several cases in those instances that I had to deal with employees. One, and then we're talking about a whole nother thing when we have these employees that are females, because they're not only in the field type of people. You also have, your call takers that are usually female, and your guys are coming in and wanting to hit on those people, and that's just not something that I put up with. There will be respect, and I plan on having that on the walls in the office.
yeah, that's another like that's one of the next things I was gonna talk about. But I was gonna say that like just from the respect of the like you said, being hit on and stuff, like after I got my apprentice license and I was working on getting my hours towards my wireman, and a lot of people don't know that I hold electrical license. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. And I do my CE and everything else. But like I'd go out on like ride-alongs with the guys and everything, and they would be like, and that's back when like I was co-owning the other business, and
Oh, you co-owned another business?
well,
Did you get bought out of that?
no, I didn't. Walked away from it. Um,
Did you sign over your ownership?
no, so
So
he
you actually still own it?
oh no. There's a whole long story behind that whole shit show and a half.
Well, from my understanding, it was a
Father
father and
daughter
daughter
owned.
own. I mean,
Yeah,
it was published all
it
over
was
the
published.
internet.
It absolutely was published.
And also, to my understanding, there is still on their Facebook page pictures of you, our family, mostly you, representing this business.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know we're off topic,
We are very far.
but again, that goes back to the respect
Mhm.
of being treated as a female and should have equality whenever you're told you have equality and then it's ripped from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the whole reasoning of not the whole reasoning, but it's definitely a foundation point of why I'm starting this is because it's like, no, like you're not going to rip away what I'm good at. You are not the reason why I was good at business. You are not the reason why that business was successful. Like yes, you are the reason that business is still open, but you are not the reason that business was successful. And it took a realization for me of that. But I needed the component of you to be
Yeah.
on board for us to launch this together because you hold some pieces that I don't hold. And I know that. And so it was either like, I'm going to have to hire that out or and my partner could help me. And so, yes, I own it, but we own and run this shit together. Like, yes, on paper, it's me. But when we walk in those doors every morning, it's us.
Yep.
It I don't give a shit what the paper says. Like that doesn't matter because I know that regardless of what I own, I can't run it without you.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think was what was missing with the other company.
Do you think there's a possibility that you want this to be a employee owned business?
I don't know. I haven't even thought that far yet. Right now, my brain is stuck on dress code.
What if the majority, and I'm sorry again, we're completely off topic, but I kind of want to talk about this.
Great. Let's talk about it.
What if the majority is women journeymen?
Yeah.
How receptive? Okay, I'll go back to body language with this. How receptive do you think the end user is going to be to a female knocking on their door
I think it
as an electrical contractor?
I think it depends on the customer because one of the very last ride-alongs that I did was it was almost like they thought I was a part of like some high school training or something. Granted, I know like
Can you speak on?
yes,
Can you get give some depth into that?
I am going to give some depth on that. Hang on. So respond, confirm. Uh, yeah. So one of the last ride-alongs that I did, we were in Arlington, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like we were in Arlington. And we were doing a ride along and their GFI was bad in the garage, but we traced it back to the breaker and then the GFI, the breaker and the panel actually fried the GFI in the garage. And the GFI in the garage, like they had a fridge. Fridges don't go on GFIs. GFIs, ground fault, whatever. Anyways, the breaker fried the outlet. So we had to replace both the breaker and the outlet. And then we did an upgrade on some lighting while we were there in the garage. And no, we didn't do up lighting in the garage. Because that GFI failed, because it was a GFI right by that, it actually, because he was like, my garage door opener failed too. So the outlet in the ceiling that controlled the garage door opener. So it was actually two outlets. That's right. So we replaced two outlets and a breaker. And I was, tightening everything back up, putting outlets back in the wall, putting the covers back on. And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay." He's like, "Cool." So, and the homeowner's talking to me, having no fucking clue that I own this, right? He has
Yeah.
no clue that I own the company at all. He's just talking to me. I'm helping the technician that I'm riding along with, and he's like, "Oh, cool, yeah. So your partner there," and he's talking to the male technician that I'm with, and he's like, "Hey, so oh yeah, how is it? We're riding along with a girl, like you teaching her quite a bit, whatever." And the technician kind of like is slowly turning to look at me
Yeah.
as this homeowner is like just
Trying to wait for you to talk.
yeah, he's waiting for me to speak and I'm just standing there. I've got a logoed shirt on, everything. Like I am in the field working with tools and I'm learning. He's higher ranking. Yes, I own the company, but hours wise and license wise, he's higher than I am. I am
Right.
in the field learning. And he's just like of course the technician
Are
feels
you gonna say something?
the technician
The
feels
technician always feels that way.
he feels awkward as shit, right? Because he's like, and he's looking at me because because he knows the homeowner's eating shit right now and has no idea. And so he's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's still looking at me like, would you speak the fuck up, please? And so finally I'm like, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, it's been a great time. I've really enjoyed it. He's a really, really, really good technician. He's probably one of the best in the team. And I really enjoy employing him. And that little phrase right there at the end, enjoy employing him, he looks at me and he goes, "You employ him?" I said, "Yes, sir." "You own the company?" "Yes, sir, I do. He's my employee." "Oh." Okay. And he had no clue what to say, but that's the shit that I know is going to be coming because the ride-alongs are going to
I
happen.
think that that is great, though. I absolutely think that's a cool story because I think the perception of that story is phenomenal for the reason that this person had no clue,
None.
and then you drop that in there, and then the level of respect changed and the dynamic of the conversation
It
changed.
absolutely did. Yeah, he stopped communicating with the
With the technician
technician
and
and started communicating with me as the
changed
owner.
his full body language to you.
Absolutely, he did. Yeah, and he
Whenever
was
he was giving you cold shoulder all
yeah,
day,
yeah.
and he
Didn't
was
wanna talk
maybe
to
even
me,
standing
nothing.
over your shoulder watching you
Yeah, yeah.
and then ignoring you and going to the man.
Mhm. Granted, I mean, as the dynamic, the way that it was, if you take out gender at all, that's the way that that call should have happened because he was higher license ranking than I was, and in that
And he went in
situation, I was a
and
helper.
he went in and led the
Yeah, led the call for sure.
yeah. And I
So,
do ride along the same way. I
yeah,
let them lead and and it's hard for me. Like this part is super hard for me to shut up in a call
yeah,
because I want to help them sell more
yeah,
and they stop.
yeah,
They leave so much on the table and
uh-huh,
it's so hard for me to shut up.
yeah,
And so I'm like, "Hey, I need to go get this is actually what I do.
mhm,
I need to go get this thing out of the truck to fix that. Can you come show me where it's at?"
mm,
And I'll take the technician to the truck and I'll be like, "You need to say this, you need to say this, you need to
yeah,
say this, you need to say this, you need to say this, you need to say this." You
right.
left at least bare
X of X
minimum,
amount of dollars on the table.
bare minimum, you left 6 grand sitting there because you didn't talk about it. You didn't notice the pictures on the wall. You didn't talk about the pictures on the wall. You didn't notice the light that needs to go on the picture on the wall. You didn't
Right,
notice the fan that has a
right,
bulb in it. You didn't notice
right.
the fan that's
Yeah,
shaking.
yeah,
You didn't notice the plug that needs to be changed out.
right,
You didn't notice they didn't have any under counter lighting.
right,
You didn't bring any of these things up.
right.
All you did was address the call and the need of the call,
Yes.
and then you left all of this shit on the table.
Yeah, there's a very specific way. And so that's the other thing that I'm also looking forward to because I know that we're going to join a success group for coaching because I know that we're not going to be able to coach
You know what's cool about that?
what
It's built in.
it is built in. Yes, it is built in. But I also know that we're going to also,
Am I gonna get paid like on the side for that?
I'm already paying you.
But you're gonna have to contract the coach separately.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, yes, I know we've got you, but because you do business coaching, not sales coaching.
I'm willing to adapt.
Yeah.
I actually do, but sales coaching, just not for everybody.
Right. I think that we
I
would.
will coach all of our people that want to be coached. They have to be receptive to it.
Yes. What I'm getting at though is I think that eventually we need to be a part of some type of success group
Yes.
at some point because there's going to be things in the market that are shifting and changing. And if we're not surrounding ourselves with people and if we think we hold all of the keys and that we are the
We
smartest in the
don't.
kingdom,
Nope. I
we're
don't
not
feel that
going
way
to
at all.
succeed.
I don't feel that way at
I
all.
need to get this other blanket. My back's hurting.
You want this fella? I'm not really using them. I'm using one just to get myself up.
There we go.
Yeah, I got this thing to change colors, but it's doing some funky stuff.
The keyboard. I don't know what you did.
It's kind of cool though.
So yes, body language is 100%. Like had I postured myself differently on that service call, like the homeowner probably would have been like, "Oh, yeah, she's the owner." But I didn't. Like I positioned myself in the fact of like I was being trained. And
Yeah.
it's nice because I was looking, at it from the aspect too of what does the office need to know about what's going on in the field and how can we better serve our technicians from the office about what they need because there's that huge disconnect in language between office and field there's a very huge disconnect in keeping those open lines of communication from your field to
You
your
know,
technician
you
is a
know,
huge challenge.
do you know what we're gonna have?
What are we gonna have?
It's gonna take a while to get there. I think by truck number 4, we integrate this.
Podcasts?
No,
Oh,
we integrate a person that does quality control field management. And what I mean by that is this person is going to go around to the jobs during the day. This is their sole job.
yeah,
They go check on the job.
yeah,
They make sure that the technicians are happy.
yeah.
They have conversations one on one with the technicians
And they
because
gather
they are
content.
trained to do this. And I will train them to do this.
Yeah.
They find out the friction points of what they're having so that it's not coming into the office from the field, but from one person, not from 10.
Yeah.
And that person also executes and delivers a solution to that problem. And if that person is in the field doing these things,
Mhm.
taking care of the technicians,
Mhm.
and then the technicians are also being taken care of by the office as well,
Mhm.
our retention rate on technicians will be astronomical.
I hope so.
There's no hope. It's it. There's there's a factor that it will be there.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've lived it. In one of those companies that I said that I worked for, this is how it operated. So,
Well, and here's the other thing that I'm gonna need from them is content. Because the cool thing about us now is that we've lived in the content world and we've lived in the marketing world for businesses. And it's like now
maybe our weekly meetings will be that. Maybe we'll have a podcast for a weekly meeting and we'll set up everybody in the room and do a shot of everybody and we'll just get everybody to talk.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, be interesting.
Maybe a bigger couch
Not everybody on a couch, but
or a conference room table
yeah,
and then a setting from, 2 angles.
yeah. And then just one really good like floor mic that gets like everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or even a boom.
oh yeah, boom mic would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it'd be really interesting.
Good lighting in the office and then you don't have to have this. And then
Oh,
we can just turn it down or up or whatever.
oh, kind of like a white room, like the lighting in the white room.
Well, just a bright ass white ceiling and
Yeah.
then diffused LED panels
Uh-huh.
and then dimmer.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can drop whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like any of the like it's not like we would do it live. So even if the
And then obviously we know lighting control, so or I do. So we'll make it.
mm-hmm.
All right. So what's the next topic? Do you feel like we nailed that one?
Body language. I felt like we were all over the place with it, but
Do you want to keep going on it? Because we can.
oh,
We can give other for instances.
I'm good. So we talked about body language. Now this is understanding. Aim to truly understand what is being said. Don't just stand there and nod your head and then realize later you have no idea what you just talked about. Like that right there.
And what'd you say?
Understanding.
Don't say it again. I got it. So what you're referring to is don't ignore what somebody's saying when they're talking to you, and it's easy to do, especially when there's other people around and your ears. All right. So, and I'll give a for instance on this. So we have 5 kids. And when they come home from school, they all want to download at the same time to one or both of us. Either way, it's a information overload of guess what I did today? Guess where I'm at? Guess what I'm at in volleyball? Guess where I am in baseball? Guess where this? Guess what happened here? Guess who's coming to my birthday party? Guess what? 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 Right? And so it can be hard to follow one person. So you have to put yourself and place yourself properly and not be disrespectful in the fact that everybody wants to talk, but slow everybody down and say, okay, one at a time. And then you can talk, you can talk, you can talk. That way I can understand exactly what one person is telling me. And you do a lot better job of this, like listening to my brain doesn't work like yours, though. You can listen to 3 different conversations and understand all of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot. I have to listen to one person talk in order for my brain to fully process exactly what they're saying. And then I can understand it. What are your thoughts?
Mm, don't if you're not vibing, and this is a huge reason for me on why I finally decided to leave the last place of business was because I was speaking and that person was nodding, but they were not in attendance.
No, not at all.
So you
Not
can't.
unless you're bringing money. Am I wrong?
No.
If you didn't bring value, you weren't valued.
Yeah. So like you can't pacify don't pacify your speaker by acting like you're engaged in the conversation, because that is very misleading and it's also very disrespectful. If you are just listening because you're like, "Oh, they just need like I just need to be here so that they think I'm here," or "I just need to be here so that they," whatever your reasoning is, you're doing yourself a disjustice, because ultimately the person who's speaking is going to feel manipulated. They're going to feel used. Like, they are speaking because they believe what they are talking about has value. And then you're sitting there just shaking your head, nodding your head, or, and so it's like, and then later on, they'll do something and they'll go back and reference whatever it is you guys talked about, and then they're like, "Oh, no, no, that was never brought up." And you're like, "What do you mean? I've been working on it for the past 2 weeks. Like, we talked about it and you were there and you were shaking your head and you were engaging." Like, you're doing yourself, like, you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. You're going to do disjustice. You're going to cause friction points in your business, all because you didn't speak up and say, "Hey, I don't have the brain capacity today for this conversation. I know we had a meeting scheduled. Can we reschedule that till I can actively be a participant in this conversation?" You're going to get more respect out of that than just physically showing up to nod your head.
Yeah.
So just that's the biggest thing for me is, and then, like, if I'm shaking or nodding my head, the kids know I'm not listening. Like, that to me, if you're nodding your head and you're not making eye contact with me, like, there again, that goes to back to the B in all of this. Body language matters. Matters, it matters.
It matters.
Yeah, so body language and understanding, you can't just you've got if yeah, that's just very one of my big frustrations. This next one, do you wanna guess what the I stands for?
The I
Mhm.
and what?
And the 5 ways to practice active listening, the acronym is BUILD: body language, understanding, and
Integrity.
interrupting.
Okay.
Interrupting other people stops the flow of conversation and makes it seem like what you have to say is more important than what the other person is saying.
So their body language gives you the idea that they are more interested in something else.
No, this is just B stands for body language, U is for understanding, I is for interrupting, L is for looking them in the eye, and D is for don't judge. This is how you build active listening.
Okay.
So the I in the build for active listening is interrupting. And so when you interrupt someone, you're basically saying like what I have to say is more important than what you have to say.
Well, I feel like I do that a lot.
I think it depends on the topic.
Like, and I think everybody does this a lot. So when you're talking to someone and you really want to like speak up and be heard, and I've been in this situation several times where I want to say something and I'll start to say it and I'll realize that nobody's listening.
Yeah.
And then I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you're not listening, so I'm not going to talk. So I'll start talking into what their conversation is about and engage in it because I think it's important to engage and stop the conversation at a certain point so I can understand it. Because if we're in a group of people that are talking about a specific thing,
Yeah.
I want to fully understand exactly what it is that they're talking about. And if I have a question, I'm going to forget it if I hold it till the end.
Yeah. So I have a really hard time with like note taking, like basically pin dropping conversation points. I have a really hard time with being like circling back because just like what you said is like if I don't interrupt you right then and clarify what it is that you just said, I'm not going to be able to come back to that.
I won't retain it. There's
Uh-uh.
no way.
Uh-uh. I can't.
But I want to. Like
Yes.
I want, and this is hard because I want to listen to exactly what you're saying and I want you to continue talking but I don't want you to lose your train of thought. So this is hard for me to do because I know it's important for you, the person speaking, to get out what you're saying. And whenever I interrupt, I know that I'm putting you off track. And I don't want that to be a thing. However, it's kind of got to be a thing because it's communication. So communication, and I'm going to go back to that. Communication has got to be the fact that you're willing to listen and be interrupted at the same time. If you know what you're talking about, you can jump back on topic.
Yes.
So interruption in this situation, I don't 100% agree with because I do this frequently. I do this with you. I do this with our kids. I do this in business in general because I need to understand. I have to make a pause. I have to understand exactly 100% what you said because I process things so deeply and I will engage and I will listen to you, but I need to understand exactly what it is that you're putting out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a point of where in a conversation to interrupt and to have dialect and things like that and to just, have conversation back and forth, I think. But I think too there's different levels and different types of interrupting where it's like you're talking on topic about something and then somebody interrupts you to ask about last Tuesday. That to me is like not communication. That is like 100% interrupting what you've got to say.
And
Or
that's disrespect.
or they're interrupting you to be like, "Oh, yeah," and then they're talking about you about what your topic like,
Or they're talking about themselves.
well, they're talking about themselves or they're talking about the topic you're already talking about because they're, like, trying to weasel their way onto the stage. Like, that to me is
I
just
don't like that either.
no, I think that's what it's referring to because there's difference in, like, questioning what you're talking about, and then there's true interruption to, like, "Oh, no, my sugar's already too high. Thank you." Um, talking about you gave me another one. Uh, yeah.
Well, I gave you one.
And then the L is says, "Look them in the eye. Look someone in the eye when you talk. We are used to looking at screens these days, but we have to practice looking people in the eye. I have days where looking people in the eye is too hard. So I have ADD and I also have anxiety. And looking people in the eye, if I'm having a high anxiety day, is almost impossible. I don't want to make eye contact with you. I don't know. I can't explain the feeling of which I get, but I will look at your forehead, I will look at your chin, I will look at your cheeks, I will look at anything else, but I really hard time making eye contact when I have those days. So, but yes, eye contact is important. I'm getting better at it as I age, but I do know that I even still have those days where eye contact is
I don't feel like that's with
limited.
us.
With us?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like people externally.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before.
From me to others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good topic. You know, having eye contact brings a lot of value.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of perspective.
Eye contact makes a lot of people nervous. It's also eye contact is also a power play move.
It depends on what situation you're in.
Yeah.
So, say you're in front of. All right, let's put it in like layman's terms. Say you're in front of your customer and you're pitching your customer on what you're trying to sell them. If you're constantly looking at your look, if you're constantly looking at this like this,
Yeah.
look at the camera, honey.
Oh,
If this is what you're doing to your customer,
I feel like you're recording me.
and and then all of a sudden you go, okay, this is what I've built for you. I'm going to need you to go ahead and check everything out. And you're not at all making eye contact. Look, I'm not making eye contact. I'm looking down. This is what I prepare for you. I need you to review it and decide if this is what you're going to want, if this is what you actually want to move forward with. And then I'm going to need you to sign at the bottom and approve this. And I'm going to empower you with this. So, is that enough? Or should I be like, I'm going to do this the right way? Okay. And in the way that I do it. So,
Talk into your mic more.
I don't do this. I do empower my customers, but I do not go directly to iPad and I coach this, right? So, I coached in the fact that this is what we're going to do. We're going to go into the home. We're going to assess the home. We're going to do an inspection of the home. We are going to spend time there. We're going to walk in the doors. This is also a part of the coaching process. We're going to walk into the doors. Okay. Once we're invited in, we're going to have small talk. We're going to create a relationship. It's important. It's a foundation. We're going to do these things. All right. We're going to also sit down at the kitchen table. This is one of the biggest things that I do because it empowers your customer. We're going to sit down at the kitchen table. You know why?
Hmm.
What happens at your kitchen table?
Discussion,
What else happens there?
dinner,
What else happens there?
family time.
So, do you think that that customer is highly empowered
Yeah.
in their own space?
Yeah.
All right.
You're a guest.
So customer, and you've been offered water, you've been offered whatever,
Sometimes
right?
they even make you a meal.
I have had people make meals for me, all all types of meals, mind you, Indian, Asian,
American.
which are all great, American, Chinese food, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You never say no. If you say no, the deal's done. Doesn't mean you have to eat it all, but you at least try it, and then you continue into the conversation once that other person is set down and relax, because even if they prepared a meal for you at this point and you're still sitting at the table, you're still having small talk while they're cooking, whatever it is, or preparing a sandwich. It doesn't really matter. Getting you a water bottle, whatever it is,
Right.
you're still small talking them from a distance,
Right.
and then you're bringing them back in. And we're going to talk. We're going to create value.
Yeah.
You know what? When I walked into your house, I saw this beautiful painting on the wall. Where did you buy that at?
Home goods.
Really?
Yeah, it's cheap.
Can't believe that. It's got a signature on it. Is that just like,
It's a duplicate print. It's not
oh,
real.
well, that's really nice. Which Home Goods did you go to?
One in Burleson.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you okay?
I'm fine.
Is your Tourette's kicking you?
A little bit.
So, if you're engaging with this person actively and you're doing all of the right things, you're speaking because it's important for communication, and you're asking questions about the home. When did they move in? What have they done? What upgrades have they done? What are their plans for upgrades? What are their plans in life? Are they going to move soon? Like, these are all valid questions. If they're moving soon, they're probably not going to plan on spending a lot of money on this home. On the flip side, if they're moving soon, maybe they are planning on putting some money in this home because they think they're going to get a return on it, whether that's audio, video, or it's a generator, or it's a pool, or it's a whatever, an outdoor living space.
Right.
It doesn't really matter what that thing is, but if you're asking the question, there's a very high likelihood that you get involved in those other situations
Right.
or those other topics of discussion because you opened it up. And by you opening it up, it may not even been on their radar, but psychologically it is now back on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm going to use this guy, or at least I'm going to reach out to him or girl to get their perspective on exactly what I should do. So I think there's a lot of different dynamics to the answer of this question because it can go a whole lot deeper in the fact that you can do anything that you want to do inside of a home. You have to be open to the conversation and then download your customer on everything that you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a real pricing guide that you can present and you can show them and empower them, okay, I'm just gonna I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna let you talk.
Are you even logged in on there?
I will be.
Oh, okay. So the next one I'm looking forward to getting to as far as the last letter, which is D, which stands for don't judge. So look them in the eye and don't judge, and then don't judge people. Instead, put yourself in their shoes. This is empathy, which is one of the most important skills a leader can have. That's probably honestly one of the hardest things for leaders to do. I guess, and I would sort of put it this way, that's probably one of the hardest things for bosses to do because boss and leaders are two different things. Bosses, to a point, you need to have empathy with people.
Dive into that. What the dynamic is of those.
Yeah, well, I wanna make sure I address this correctly first, but and where I'm going with it. So, you've got to be able to have the empathy component and to not judge, and in order to not judge, you have to not get defensive. So, don't judge and don't be defensive when you're having communication and active listening. So, if you're actively listening to someone and you're defensive, defense mechanism to me is a part of judgment, and so you're not actively listening if you're in defense mode. If you are being 100% defensive about what's being talked about, you're not listening either. So I think that for that D part they should put don't judge and then also don't be defensive. But you should, in order to actively be listening and to communicate, maybe that falls into the communication component of all of this, is that you have to can't be judging. You can't be judging and you can't be defensive. Because if you're defensive, it doesn't work. So there you go.
There you go. There you go. Where you at? Where you at? I keep talking on.
Oh, you didn't switch the camera.
I know.
I'm ready for Christmas.
Ready for cold weather.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. I don't even know if that's how the song goes. I feel like it is.
Damn, I can't spell.
I'm looking up the lyrics right now. Yeah. Silent night.
All right, I'm in. What was I talking about?
Holy night. When you make a sales presentation and you're able to show them a pricing guide.
Oh, the pricing guide.
All is calm. All is bright. While your worship mother and child, holy infant, so tender and sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. It's probably one of my favorite Christmas songs. Silent Night.
Damn. Put all these pictures in and they're at the bottom of the page. That sucks. Fuck is that?
If you turn your iPad the other way, what's it look like?
Mm-hmm.
Silent Night.
The same.
What's it look like when you add it to an invoice?
Looks like your mom. Why the side eye?
Because you read the kid's ass all the time about being disrespectful and saying shit like that.
Not really, because they say that all the time. Oh, got the full inbox.
Of?
TBD.
Oh. That's interesting.
I need to check the dates.
I bet they're old.
Up to February. I'm ready to do a mass email.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we gonna do Podium?
Podium's super expensive. I bet we're gonna go with the lower level. Something we're gonna go because there's several different options.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with something, but Podium is definitely super expensive.
If anybody has like an idea of a software for specifically electrical contracting companies that is somewhat decently priced, and I know there's a shit ton of them out there, but something like Podium, because I really do like Podium's platform that integrates into House Call Pro. If there's something like that,
Yeah.
reach out. Let us
They
know.
used to have a Nice Job, used to be.
Well, I was about to sign up for a whole bunch of stuff, but we still have to complete some other tasks
Yeah.
in order to do that.
Yeah. There's so much.
Yeah. So
My brain.
what is the D?
Don't judge. Have empathy.
D. Give me the D.
Don't judge. And then I said, you can't be defensive. So don't judge. And then I said don't be defensive, which is the true like part of that I feel like is um you can't be actively listening if you're in defense mode. Like if you're trying to be defensive about what they're talking about, then that's a hard thing for business owners to have or bosses or leadership even to be able to let your guard and truly be like actively take on what criticisms your technicians, employees, or even homeowners or customers are bringing to you, clients are bringing to you and saying, hey, can we fix X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
That's hard. So don't be defensive and don't judge.
So this goes both ways. Homeowners can be very defensive in the fact that I don't want to buy this. I don't need this. My house has worked this way for years and there's no problems. All right. Listen, there's a rebuttal for this. And I want everybody to listen. Go to NEC's website and look up when your electrical components should be changed.
When the
Okay.
failure years are.
I'm going to tell you right now. If you live in a house and it's more than 20 years old and it has the same panel, or the panel's located in a closet or behind a door or in the bathroom, you need to
They used to put
call.
panels in bathrooms.
Yeah.
Wow. I
And
thought
even if you have a fuse box that has glass fuses in it that twist in,
those are
that
becoming less and less and less. Finding those is becoming fewer
they're
and
still
fewer.
around. Still around. I don't want to give a demographic. They're still around. They still are a thing. And people put pennies behind fuses. Did you know that?
Mhm.
They put a penny behind a fuse because penny blows or the fuse blows all the time. So they'll put a penny there because it's copper.
Yeah, and it'll keep the conductor going.
It will. And it won't blow the fuse.
Yeah. But the fuse is a safety point and it's supposed to blow.
It's supposed to go, which means if you're allowing electricity to pass through it, the likelihood of the wire burning itself in half is probably 100% going
Which
to
is
happen.
why FPE panels, Federal Pacific panels, are also recalled. Because
Well, I want to elaborate on that for a second. So it's not just FPE. There are several recalls on several different types of panels. Even a very common panel known as Square D.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to name off the ones that I know, and there may be more. There is FPE, I would put at the top of the list.
Yeah.
There is Challenger. There is Zensco. Zensco, if you have a Zensco panel, your breakers are like the color of the rainbow. They have so many different colors of breakers. It's ridiculous. That thing needs to go. The Challenger needs to go. The FPE needs to go. The stab on neutral on the Square D panels doesn't need to exist by any stretch of the imagination. It just doesn't. There are things that just shouldn't, it shouldn't be on market. Now, you can go to Breaker Broker and you can buy replacement breakers. They're refurbished. Understand that they do not have a warranty on the breaker, whether it's a main breaker or it's a breaker that feeds an individual circuit. The breaker ultimately is trash and it's going to do the same thing.
This is pretty crazy. I've got the recall up right here. Snyder Electric recalls 1.4 million electrical panels due to thermal burn and fire hazards. So,
Because of the plug on neutral.
Square DQO plug on neutral load centers, also known as load center breaker boxes, electrical panels. The load center can overheat, posing thermal burn and fire hazards. We have a new subscriber to the channel. Replace or repair. The recall date was June of 2022. So like this shit's still happening new as far as like recalls. But here we go. There are 1.4 million homes affected in addition to, so this is just in the United States, 1.4 million panels were installed in the United States. 289,000 were sold in Canada. So that's like in addition to, so the 1.4 million, and then in addition to, and they list out the Canadian homes that would be affected. 1.4 million panels out there need to be replaced because of this shit right here.
All right. And to that, there are companies that are seeking this out. I want to make every person aware that the companies that you're trying to buy these leads from don't.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take the information from them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't purchase the lead from them.
and convert it yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really freaking crazy. So I'm looking forward to getting the YouTube channel started for the I'm really looking forward to doing the digital marketing component to this electrical business because I understand it now. I understand how important all of the marketing is and how important to link all of it together. It's not about just the postcards, it's not about just the SEO. It's not like you need to live. It's not about the yellow pages. It's not like it's just not anymore. It's about
What
what
is Yellow Pages?
yeah, right? So Yellow Pages is now Yelp, but what I'm getting at is it's like your business now is so important that you take and you make shorts about your business. So shorts is like a 60-second or less clip that you put on YouTube or you put on TikTok or you put on Instagram or Facebook. And like really and honestly, you should have all of those for your business. And like even then you should even probably do LinkedIn for your business. Like there's so many different things you need to do